Greetings and best regards to all my dear autumn-borns. I hope you are all doing well. Before I officially begin, I have a very short introduction that I have already mentioned in the other signs as well, and I truly feel it is absolutely necessary to share it with you here today too. My dear ones, as an astrologer, I am telling you something very important. Something that I honestly believe no other astrologer would ever say to you. Please listen closely, because this is something that comes from the heart. No doctor would ever tell you to avoid seeking professional medical advice. The point here is really about not making astrology your primary focus. Please do not make it your main goal or let it become your entire life. It should be a tool, not a replacement for real-world care. Don't become so overly dependent on it that it strips away all of your personal power, effectively stopping you from taking any meaningful action just because some astrologer said so. First of all, it is true that the stars do influence us, but if our own internal energy isn't high enough, nothing significant will ever happen. Those who are in a low energy state, even if Jupiter is above them or Venus is above them, they won't see any change in their lives. So it's not that the stars run our lives, rather it is us who find our path more easily with the energies of the stars, but it does not stop us from taking action. This specific issue has caused many people who are astrologers and true believers, and I myself believe in astrology 100%, to fall into a kind of extreme, unhealthy dependency that unfortunately ruins their own lives. It is a situation that really demands our attention. Meaning, when they see, for example, that the moon is in Scorpio, or Mercury is retrograde and inactive, or Venus is not overhead, they align their lives exactly with that flow because they know what its reflection is on us, without realizing they are doing it subconsciously because they believe in it. And this has caused misery for many astrologers themselves, as they end up not taking any action. It's like a gardener who has been poisoned by the grapes they planted themselves. Consequently, for you all, and of course, with the spiritual elevation we are experiencing as we move toward the golden age, many of these issues, where people tend toward fortune-telling and predicting the future, will diminish. Astrology should be used like meteorology. Meaning, if the weather forecast says it's going to rain, I arrange my life so I don't go out today, but I still do my housework. I don't fall behind on my goals. It is very helpful to that extent. But when I completely surrender myself to astrology and what is happening in the heavens, I ignore my own powers. Personally, whenever the conditions are not looking good at all, I find myself doing something against the stars, just to see what happens. I call someone when a deal needs to be made, even when the timing isn't good at all, and I want to prove to myself that if I take the right steps, even when I don't have the support of the stars, because sometimes it's my good luck, sometimes it's my bad luck, when I don't have that support, I want to see how much power I have. What could I do if I didn't know anything about astrology at all? And the issue of spiritual elevation, that we are achieving spiritual elevation, and when we have ascended to a certain spiritual level, the stars no longer affect us. Because if you really take a moment to look at the lives of great philosophers and those who have reached a truly high spiritual level, think of figures like Hafez, or Rumi, or Shams, or even the Dalai Lama, you will realize that the stars simply did not affect them. They had transcended the ordinary, mundane influences that govern most people, existing on a plane where the movements of the heavens no longer held sway, because they reached a point where they became one with the universe. They say when you don't know, decisions are made for you. When you know, you make the decisions yourself. They reached that point where they knew and surrendered to the universe, became the universe. And it wasn't interesting for them to know their future. And it didn't have any effect at all because they had reached the truth. With this introduction, I wanted to briefly talk about the energy that is changing at certain points, and perhaps in the next 18 months, it will be helpful for you to know to work more on those points. For this reason, I will speak very briefly about the signs. If you are interested in looking at the 12 signs, because we ultimately have all 12 signs somewhere in our chart, which affects us. And where do we have Mars? Where do we have Venus? But if you definitely don't have your chart or don't want to listen to all 12, make sure to listen to the main 3. Where do you have your moon? Where is your birth moon? And what is your rising sign? Thank you so much for being here with us today, and a special warm welcome to our dear Libras. You have always paid such a great deal of careful attention to your own personal lifestyle, as well as to the lifestyles of those around you. You have constantly been comparing and weighing things in your mind, deeply considering whether what I am doing is truly right or perhaps wrong, observing what others are doing, and wondering how I should adjust my own path. You are always thinking about how I can be more popular, how I can fit in better, and ultimately how I can be a people pleaser to ensure that everyone around me is happy and satisfied with my presence. You cared a lot about what others thought of you, which is one thing, but you were also judging yourself endlessly, and this internal battle caused a lot of mental fatigue, burnout, hopelessness, and many emotional issues that didn't make you happy, meaning it had taken away your smile, especially over the last 7 years. It was a heavy burden to carry, day in and day out, feeling like you were never quite enough, constantly seeking validation from the outside world. But now that is changing, and you are seeing these profound changes in yourself. That former person learned so many valuable things over the past year and finally realized that the secret to true success isn't to constantly go to a gathering or be with friends who don't resonate with you at all, just to find my own happiness and joy there. You are finally learning to prioritize your own peace of mind over the expectations of others, and that is a beautiful, transformative shift to witness as you step into a more authentic version of yourself. Because when we would finally come back home, we'd often realize that we didn't feel good at all, and we hadn't really learned anything new either. But despite that, you would inevitably go back again to socialize with the same people, dealing with the same problems all over again. It's quite disheartening how some people have fallen into a repetitive cycle regarding their choice of partner, specifically when it comes to their choice of a life partner. This would be a mistake. They would go back and do the same thing again, and get the same result. The formula is the same, the result is the same, the action is the same, the reaction is the same in different places. And one of the things that has been very, very prevalent with you over the course of these past few years is the sense that in a way your soul is just deeply tired. It feels like you've been carrying a heavy burden for a long time now. The past really hasn't been all that pleasant for you when you take a moment to look back on it, and I can see how that weighs on your spirit even today. You are upset with yourself for the things you've done. You might be feeling guilty. There might have been a deep-seated feeling of worthlessness within you, perhaps even lingering since your childhood. And to hide that vulnerability, you would often do things that actually made it worse. It didn't improve your mood at all. Rather, it just made you feel more nervous, more upset with yourself, and all these things just kept piling up, making it harder to cope. But now you are entering a new phase where you finally realize that if this group doesn't truly make me happy, I simply won't go there anymore. It's just not worth my energy. If this issue causes me not to be myself, not to speak my true feelings, I will no longer go to that group or socialize with those people, or even in the home environment. If I didn't speak up so as not to upset the family but was eating myself up inside, now I won't hold it in anymore. Now I speak my true words. I take off my mask. I don't need the approval of others. I find myself wanting to either fix something that feels broken or, at the very least, show my true self to the world. And in these next 18 months, this energy will become very strong within you. It has already begun to take root, and I can tell you, it is going to become even stronger. For those who haven't done anything about this or haven't seen these changes, I recommend that you definitely consult with a spiritual teacher you trust. Not one dependent on the matrix, but a true spiritual teacher. Or a therapist you like talking to, because you are in the process of transforming and being reborn. So, someone needs to put some gas in your car first so you can speed off later. And this can be done through therapy, because suddenly all your lights will turn on and you'll say, I don't even know why I was getting myself involved in my whole life. Involved in this work, involved with this person, involved in these issues, and then forgive yourself. You have an inner child issue. You've carried it since childhood. Since childhood, you've wanted not to upset anyone. And some of you feel worthless. You feel a sense of worthlessness from within. And then you do things to show your worth. And that's where pride comes in, and that's where it gets worse. So if you'd like to get some extra help, or perhaps just by knowing and understanding these key points, you can truly begin to heal yourself. The path forward now is actually the complete opposite of the past, meaning that you might even find yourself wanting to change your job entirely, or perhaps just change the specific methods you use in your current job to better align with your new direction. Meaning, if you used to perform an action in your work for years, now talk in a different way. Now you need to open your throat chakra. Now your conversations should be short but useful. And don't worry about 1,000 things like, will this person like what I say? Am I worthy enough to say this? Am I saying it correctly? Am I making a mistake? What if I say a word wrong? These are things that you must leave in the past, burn them, remove them from your life, and let a new version of yourself that has self-confidence emerge. I have the right to choose. I have the right to defend myself. And the guilt that you have been carrying for some reason, you must also remove that from yourself. In these 18 months, you will take this path and you will succeed, and you will become a much more comfortable person with yourself, a more successful person, and a happier person. The point is that I have finally reached a place where I no longer live my life for other people. I have absolutely no need to pretend anymore. Rather, I have learned to deeply respect the health of my own soul, my own peace of mind, both at home and at work, and I simply do whatever I like. It is not about trying to please others, but rather it is about making myself truly happy and content in my own skin. One of the things that Libra needs to learn, because she really wasn't raised this way since childhood, is that taking care of myself is not selfishness. Taking care of myself means loving those around me. It means my family. Because when I am strong, when I have no issues with myself, I don't transfer that to my family members. The reason why my family members are so mixed up, why we have problems, why there might be so many issues going on in my friend group or in the group or at work or in the family, is that I didn't have control over myself either. I didn't know what I was supposed to do at all. And now is the time when you are discovering that, oh, I make myself happy first. I know where I am going. I have peace of mind. I no longer feel guilty, and I look at my past as an experience, and I am capable of changing others as well. I am capable of changing my father, changing my mother, changing my sister, and giving them a kind of energy that will also be a transformation in their lives. Meaning I become a healer myself, and this is what Libra is embarking on in this path. But first I must prioritize myself. The universe truly wants to make you a human being who is enjoying their life. They appreciate their partner, they appreciate their life, they appreciate their child, they appreciate what they have. Previously, you were a perfectionist for a reason. You were a perfectionist and you didn't have those things within yourself. And that's why you deprived yourself of many things. And you even pushed people away. But now finally is the perfect time when you truly learn to accept yourself. You deeply love yourself. And you are actively transferring this beautiful, radiant love to all those you hold dear in your life. Not with anger, and certainly not with rage, but with a deep and true love, you are moving towards a place where, instead of seeing the flaws in your child, you begin to see the love in them. It is a shift that changes everything. Instead of looking for flaws and shortcomings in everything, whether it's your child, your father, a relative, or your spouse, where I'm constantly searching for these flaws and demanding you correct them, start seeing what they already have and show appreciation for it. That genuine smile you had long forgotten, you will not only bring it back to your own lips, but you will also find yourself bringing that same warmth to the lips of every single member of your family. This is what you will grow into over the next 18 months. First, the light turned on, then you went into isolation, and then you sought help or help was given to you, or you watched a podcast, or you spoke with a spiritual teacher. Somewhere you had an awakening that enough is enough. I have always seen the faults of others, and that has caused me suffering and unhappiness. And now I want to see the good, to see what I have, to see the glass as half full instead of half empty. Because no one in this world is perfect, and no one is the way you wanted to force them into a mold. Everyone has some flaws, but by managing ourselves, we can not only improve ourselves, but also improve others. So the warmth of your heart that they felt had gone cold. You were always angry. You always looked at things with a sense of resentment, and you were projecting that energy onto others. Now you are giving the warmth of your heart to others, and you don't place any value on the judgments of others because you are finding your own path. Once you have found your path, I can no longer step in and tell you, come on, let's go this way. Maybe it's over here. So they are finally stopping other people from playing with your emotions now. You are taking full control yourself because you now truly know your own path. And by doing this, you are helping your children, your parents, those around you, and especially your spouse immensely. It is a profound shift so that after you have changed, they too will inevitably change in response to you. They become happier people, better people, and healthier people, creating a ripple effect of positivity that transforms everyone in your life. Many of your social connections will change as a result of this transformation, meaning you will enter a different group and your circle of friends will change entirely. The hours you once spent in triviality are now being used in the pursuit of greater awareness. in the path of how I can increase my own light. Not that I see others' light as diminished or increased, but rather I focus on my own light. And when this light is cast upon any darkness, they naturally receive it. They naturally change. And you are at this stage where places that don't understand my words, the conversations are superficial to me. The words are trivial to me now. I've heard them before. They are repetitive. I no longer step into those places, and I don't need their validation either. This becomes your philosophy of life. And as a result of all these changes, you feel how much your relationship with your child has improved, how much your relationship with your relatives, your sister and brother, has improved. Because they actually become happy with you, and you had this with your teenagers, but with feelings of guilt, with not knowing what to do, with thinking, I thought this would happen this way, and it happened that way, so it was my fault. Now, whether you admit it or not, or the mistakes you made in the past that you could have done differently, there is no point in regretting them now. Now is the time for me to say that I have completed these classes. I have learned these lessons, and I will put them in a package, entrust them to the past, and throw them away. I won't carry them with me anymore. It is precisely at this transformative stage that new doors begin to open wide for you, and you finally start to taste the essence of true pleasure. Perhaps it is no longer about mere financial value, and maybe there is no longer any status or prestige in it. Those specific things that were once so very important to you before. Now you are actively looking for simplicity, for truth, for laughter, for genuine joy, and for those deep conversations that come straight from the heart and touch the heart in return. I truly and sincerely congratulate you. This is a very good period for your life, and the difficult struggles you have had to endure, especially in the last year and a half, or perhaps even the last 7 years, are finally coming to a peaceful end. You are now entering a beautiful world where you can truly enjoy yourself and where others can enjoy you and clearly see these wonderful changes taking place within you. It is truly the season of opening up your heart, of being completely reborn, and of finding the strength to start living all over again. It is entirely possible that in some unexpected place, you might find yourself ready to change your career path, or perhaps you will decide to invest in a new venture with a trusted partner. It is possible that the style or model in which you are working will change. It is possible that you might even retire, but whatever you do, this time it will be with pleasure. This means you won't choose a job because of its status or because people tell you it's good. Rather, you will choose work that you go to with pleasure when you wake up in the morning, not because society says this job is good so I should go into it, or because it has a title or a position or gives me value. You find the values within yourself, and this is very beautiful. Hoping for the best for you, dear Libras, who have endured so much hardship and truly had relationship problems, I wish you well. By the way, before I go, I want to say this: travel. Honestly, traveling is just incredibly beneficial for you and your spirit. It really does change your perspective. Wishing you the best, I kiss your heart. And now, my dear Scorpios, you have been very much involved in short-term relationships. You would get attached to someone somewhere, then become disappointed again, and get thrown back into another place. Over the past 7 years, your values, your standards, and the rules of your life have all been disrupted, and you don't even know what you want, where you are going, or what kind of future you want. But in the last 6 months, in the last year, With the events that have happened to you, you have become comfortable with yourself. You no longer have those past standards. I need to have this much money in my bank account, own this kind of house, wear these clothes, have this job in order to be happy. Right now, you are heading toward a place where you find yourself asking, where is my home? Where can I truly find peace? My home doesn't necessarily have to be big or luxurious. My spouse doesn't necessarily need to have a high status, but rather they should have class. My home might be just 2 small rooms, or perhaps even just 1, but regardless of the size, I truly feel a profound sense of peace whenever I am there. And you have changed so infinitely, evolving through the many difficult failures you have faced throughout your life. Especially in these last 7 years, you have gone through so many intense ups and downs. You have witnessed so many things that you really shouldn't have had to see. But because of all that, you have finally become like a diamond. You have been carefully polished by life's challenges, and because of this journey, your values have truly changed for the better. When you are finally looking for a serious partner, you are no longer looking for those superficial old values that once mattered so much. Instead, you are looking deeper to see if this specific person is truly worth sharing the entirety of your existence with. Whereas before, thousands and thousands of other trivial things would always come first in your mind, long before you would ever stop to ask yourself, is this person actually worthy of me and my time? It is a fundamental shift in how we perceive connection. Does this person help me grow? Are they helping me grow? Are they making me a better person, or am I the one building them up, or am I the one giving them energy while my own energy is being drained? These are the transformations that happen as a result of those very failures and lessons you've learned. Your karma is being resolved, and you are experiencing true happiness. You are currently looking for the true deeper meaning of peace, and it is quite possible that to find where your home really is, you might need to travel, change where you live, change your partner, or perhaps even change your entire taste in choosing a partner. It is entirely possible that the house you live in will change, your neighborhood will inevitably change, or perhaps even your country will change. And if you are currently feeling that deep sense of peace in your own home right now, please understand that the rules you wake up to every single morning will also change. Life is constantly shifting, and even the most familiar routines we rely on are subject to the passage of time. Meaning, the value of the fact that I am healthy, I am well, I am comfortable is much more important to me than when I go outside and people applaud for me, take me up there and seat me and say, Ms. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, and none of that brought me happiness. For a long time, you used to wear so many different masks just so that no one would ever see the sadness hidden inside you. But now the time has finally come. If you are feeling sadness, it is truly okay to show it. It doesn't matter if the other person stays or doesn't stay. What matters is that I find peace. What matters is what I am living with. What matters is the peace of mind with which my food is eaten. It doesn't matter if it's at such and such a restaurant or on a very expensive plate. All your standards are changing. Your true values are emerging, and if you haven't reached them until today, it's possible that by reading a book, watching a movie, traveling somewhere, or hearing from a spiritual teacher, something might spark in your brain to show you this future path, which is the path to my peace and my family's peace, and tell you the way, so that in the next 18 months you will go here. and then in the next 20 years, you will settle in here. And in these changes and transformations, it's possible that because your previous jobs were based on status and social prestige, they will disappear. It's possible you might become unemployed. It's possible you might not want to work in your previous place anymore. It's possible you might even say that the money I'm getting from here no longer has value to me because I am not the person I used to be. As a result, it's not really about the issue of work. You become more of a homebody. Now, either because you find peace at home or you feel you need recovery, or someone at home needs you and you have to stay home to take care of that person, and this is a kind of blessing that comes to you. Everything that is truly important regarding my home, my inner peace, my physical body, and my daily life becomes incredibly big and significant for you. Meanwhile, everything else that doesn't align with those core values simply fades away and goes straight into the trash. Status, prestige, respect from others, being popular outside, all of these go out the window. And the true Scorpio emerges, who can even become a phoenix by reading and staying at home. Because it is a time when you are therapying yourself or getting help from a therapist. I am very happy, and I know that if you haven't found peace and comfort until now, you will find it soon, and your life will change because your criteria are now on the right path. Wishing nothing but the very best for you, my dear Scorpios. I send my love and kiss your hearts. And now, let us turn our attention to my dear adventurous Sagittarians. For the past few years, this wild, spirited horse has been kept housebound, its mouth firmly shut, and it has slowly forgotten its true, untamed nature. But from this moment forward, you are going to break free. You will return to the same vibrant Sagittarius you once were, or perhaps you will finally step into the person you were always meant to be all along. It is time to reclaim your spirit and rediscover your path. You have learned so many lessons in these past few years, even though you remained silent for whatever reason. Silence to avoid causing a scene, silence to keep things quiet. For whatever reason, you found yourself housebound for a long time, or perhaps you were in the middle of a major home renovation, or there were pressing issues where you had to stay behind to care for someone, and you were simply stuck at home. It could be that the demands of family life and unexpected problems had kept you entirely occupied with the home sphere. And overall, you were in a space where, when you possess the restless, untamable traits of a wild horse, it feels as though life has kept this spirited horse trapped inside the house. And when you have that deep, innate need to run, but you simply cannot gallop, it feels exactly like a bird whose wings have been clipped, leaving you unable to soar. A bird is no longer truly a bird when it loses the ability to fly, and now is the perfect time for you to return to your true self, to the sports you used to love and participate in, but unfortunately haven't been using for quite some time. Take the past few years as a profound life lesson, learn from them, and then gently set them aside. It is time to give birth to the new, authentic self that you truly are. You just need to give yourself permission to finally come out, because for far too long you had been suppressing that inner light. Just let it all come out naturally and really taste that true, genuine joy. If there is something that is truly upsetting you, please do not hold it in. Speak up and let it be known. If it's in relationships with siblings, which might even become much, much closer, because you feel a sense of peace when you are with your family, with your spouse, with your siblings, or during short trips and visits with old friends. These things enter your life and cause small daily joys to come into your life. Meaning, realize that I am alive, I am living, this fire is constantly flaming, going down, going up, and I am enjoying it. Something that hasn't been in your life in the past years. We were in silence. The silent horse that is sitting down and its neck is tied up too. This is no longer a horse, it's not a Turkmen horse. A brand new human being emerges from within you, carrying with them all the rich, complex experiences you have gathered over these past many years. This person is infinitely active, and they are destined to be infinitely influential, not just on others, but on the very fabric of society, and perhaps most importantly on themselves as they grow. It's possible that many of your beliefs will change, or it's possible that you will find the courage to express your own beliefs. I have to disagree with that. I think it is actually something else. And what comes out of you in those moments is simply because there is such an intense awareness dwelling within you. You are one of the signs that has a sixth sense, awareness. It was born with you, but it needs to be shown. And now start talking about different philosophies, about your own beliefs, about the fact that even if you believed in a religion or didn't believe in it and were fighting against it, and now you are going in a different direction, admit that I have changed my belief. I now believe in this movement, and this causes everyone around you to change. You make those around you happier, more aware, and it gives you a peace of mind that those psychological distresses, those fears, those troubles you had at home and with your family that were wearing you down will leave your life. Online activities will help you a lot. Writing down your memories will work wonders for you. Sit down and write. You are a good writer, whether you know it or not. But if you write about your life, your memories, your past experiences, it might become one of the famous books, and perhaps reading it might cause others to change their lives. You have a lot of experiences. Either write these down or share them, and this is something you will be doing in the next 18 months anyway. Your interactions with your siblings will increase, and it will be the same with your close friends and old friends. Short trips are very good for you, and if you want to change your home, do it, because perhaps that environment held all the sorrows with you. Perhaps that environment was the place that had made you sad, that had kept you entangled. If you find yourself feeling truly unhappy in your current home, you really should consider getting out of there. Pack your bags and go explore another neighborhood, move to a different country, or perhaps settle down in a brand new city. And when you finally start to travel, you might come to realize that the sky is actually the same beautiful color everywhere you go. It was really just me, all along, who had been seeing my own sky as gray and gloomy throughout all those past years. So, location can't change much, but rather who I am spending my time with. Who am I spending my days with? How am I truly spending my precious hours for myself each day? Am I still caught up in the noise of the outside world, constantly trying to please everyone else around me? Or am I finally spending those moments on the meaningful path toward cultivating my own lasting peace of mind? It is a question I need to ask myself more often. And these are the questions that will come to you. If you have embarked on this path, that's excellent. You will see its progress. If you haven't, these things I'm saying will soon come to your mind and bring a strange transformation to your life. It's possible that career-wise, for example, you might start something for yourself, start a podcast, do some writing, tell stories for YouTube. It's possible you might work with AI, expanding the knowledge you already have, and now you want to share it with the world. This is something that is in alignment with your soul. It is possible to change your field of study if you are, for example, under 25 years old. You always thought you wanted to go into this field, but suddenly you find that you've changed your mind and you want to go into a field that is completely the opposite of what you had previously dreamed of. You are, in fact, focusing your life's attention on nurturing your relationships, especially with your family and siblings, really working on improving those bonds. And you are also finding great joy in your immediate environment, and taking the time to enjoy some relaxing short trips away from the daily grind, because that is where it gives you pleasure. Life will become simpler, but you will be freer. And this is what a Sagittarius needs. Life demands freedom from it. Your hands and feet have been tied for some reason. You were tied down somewhere, and now you are bringing freedom into your life. Freedom of speech, the freedom to say, today I want to go sit in nature without having to explain myself. To go and disappear for 3 hours and not give any explanation about where I was. This is what makes your heart happy. It is something that is in harmony with your soul and brings you joy. Bring back the courage to speak up, assert yourself, and say hello to life again. Something you have forgotten for years in silence and quietude. Open your heart and smile at happiness, prosperity, and peace. Wishing you the best, I kiss your kind heart. Until the next video.